Welcome back to the studio, everyone. Today, I want to continue the discussion that I've been getting some comments about, which is for the WhiteWall app that's integrated into Shopify. So, we want to talk about, I'm going to talk about customization. So, let me go to the correct screen. Okay. All right. So we're in the Shopify. It's like the home tab, but then you have to go down to WhiteWall, the WhiteWall app, and this is my product list. So I have a ton of products. There's just a ton. And in terms of customizing a product, what I would like to see WhiteWall have is a more options, I would say, in terms of when someone comes to the website. And let's go to, which one do I want to pick? Okay, so perfect example would be if they want this in a frame. So you would click on frame, it jumps to the mock-up here of it, but there are no options. For example, there is no way that I can change the frame type, the color of the frame, the style of the frame. There is no way that I can change the matting, like the matting thickness, or I would say like the width of the matting. So I would like to see all of that integrated into the app. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about when I go to the WhiteWall website. You log in, Shopify product management, and then these are all of the products I've configured. So create new configuration. And so now when I click onto frame, there is a ton. Let me move my camera out of the way for a sec. But yeah, there's a ton of options that we don't see on my website for sure. There's frame types, there are different colors of that particular frame that's just not available. So would they be able to bring this into the app? I hope so, because then the potential buyer will be able to do all of this themselves. For now, the only thing that we can do is create one of these, but if you wanted to have all of these as an option, you would have to do them one at a time, one color at a time. But as you can see, each frame has multiple color options. So it's just impossible to have all of these options created. So what I would like to do is, if you have a main product and you want to put a frame on that, like this one is the photo print under acrylic glass, and there's frames available, this menu should be over here. But again, I don't know how that would be integrated into the interface here. And of course, if you have that many options, the app is going to have to generate that much more in terms of mockups. And so what I've done is this is the photo print by itself, and then every size has a different mock-up just to show the size of the photograph in correspondence with the room. So that's a lot of images that would get imported in. If you were going to have all of these frame types alone just integrated, the frame types with the various colors, I just think that would be overwhelming. Considering whatever your website layout is. For me, on the desktop version, this is just a scroll menu. And it's just a lot of scrolling. On the mobile version of my website, this is a carousel, and it's pretty, I guess it's, it doesn't scroll like this, like it does on the desktop. I don't know if I can show you guys what I mean on my phone. But yeah, that's what it would be. Let me see if I can show you guys what I mean. But I don't know how to get the carousel layout on the phone, from the phone to the desktop. I don't know how to transfer that to the desktop. So I don't know if I can do that. It might be an option, but for the particular template that I have, I don't know if it is an option. Okay, so let me pull this up. All right, and let me try something really quick. Can I... This is my phone. I don't know if I can control it from here. I should be able to. So go collections, showcase, go to Earth. And see on here, there is no scrolling because all of the images are in this carousel. So we just click the button over, and that's how you go from one to the other. And then when you come down here, it's the same thing. You would click over to the button, and it goes straight to it. But see, this layout is contained, right? The layout's contained. So there's the images don't scroll like you just continue to scroll down, right? If I could have this layout on the desktop version of the website, that would be great. Because then if they add more images into the app, which will add more mockups, then it wouldn't just be a person coming onto the website and constantly scrolling. But yeah, that's the issue that I see. Like the user interface has to be more contained so that it's not just this constant scrolling. But yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys. Okay. But yes, there's a lot. So what we have to do right now is just pick your favorite frame, pick one color, pick one frame type or style, and go with that. And if you want multiple frame styles and colors, you have to make a configuration for every single one of them. And it also goes for, it would be good if they had Let me pick another product. Hold on. Photo prints. I'm using the Fuji High Gloss. And you see the border? This is missing as well. So you should, the client should be able to come here and say, okay, I don't want a border, or they should be able to pick the border thickness that they want on the print themselves. Because otherwise we would have to come in here and just choose one for this particular configuration. But again, there's 6 different border thicknesses in here, or you can just go without the border. But you can only pick one per configuration. And what we don't want to do is have 100 to 200 different configurations for a handful of products. But there's a lot going on. So I don't know how much realistically they can integrate from the actual WhiteWall site into Shopify, but I think the more that they can put in there, the better it will be. Again, as long as your website template will display it properly. Because ideally what I would do is I would take this whole thing and put it into the website. So this like box here with everything lined up, the scrolling and all that, I would put this under here, underneath, at the bottom. And so then when you click on a product or a configuration here, then the box will open up and they can customize the product any way that they want to. That would be the most ideal. But again, I don't know if they'll be able to do that. Now, again, what I did touch on before is they did integrate the optimization. If I can find a product with the optimization on there, hold on. Let me go back to here. I don't see it, but I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So you go edit, and you come down at the bottom. This was not here before. So WhiteWall Super Resolution. You can also pick WhiteWall Ultra HD, and then there's the WhiteWall Image Optimization. You can go from 0 all the way to 100%, which will adjust your image after you've already uploaded it. So for me, I don't use those because I like to do all the editing and whatnot myself and making sure the resolution is where I need it to be. But if you really want to have like super large formats to print your work out as, then yeah, you would go with the super resolution here, because that is what it does. New upscaling function significantly increases the resolution of your photo, allowing it to be printed in large formats. So for me, the largest I can print things like after I'm done like optimizing it is a 40-inch by 60-inch print. But you can print it larger than that if you can add on the super resolution. But yeah, and again, I don't know how they're gonna address the issue, if they can address it. But even with the glass, you have the glossy float, you have matte, and then you have museum. So what I did with my configuration is I picked the museum glass because it's the best and it's anti-reflective. Um, and then it protects against the UV radiation. So that's what I selected on my work for the frame, the solid wood frames. So if I can get this to go, there we go. Yeah, and then the solid wood frames, they only go up to 24 by 36. So these three, when you have this selected, I would like to see these three crossed out so that, again, clients know that these sizes are not available with this particular product. But yes, I have to do this with my entire site. So what I did is I created some of these. I didn't create a whole bunch of these. But this is just some information about the product. Pre-mounted, the anti-reflective museum glass. There's some information there. But I need more of these. So I'm probably gonna create like a generic image of this with all the details on it to have these on every single print product in the gallery. And of course that's taken a while because if you go to the keyword that I have here, shop for art, right now I've got 240 prints in stock. And there's definitely more on the way. But for now, what I want to do is make sure that if they don't have an interior on the first image, that the second image is going to be an image of the wall, the interior with a small print, the 8x12s on there. Because this image, I don't like that presentation when you hover over it with the mouse. I like it better when there's the interior and the small print is there. That just looks better to me. And then ideally, if there's an interior here, the actual print or a zoomed in image of the print will be there. So I'm still going through here, making sure that everything looks the way I need it to. And the other thing is, like this particular photograph for Affable, when you load your work in, like your work here in the app, when you come to the third page, this is this box is filled in or checked. Use this configuration as the main preview image. That's what this is. You have the matte border around it, then you have like a light gray line that represents the frame. That's a preview image. Do not keep that image. I would definitely say you can feel free to delete it, replace it with a better small JPEG. But when you first upload this into the WhiteWall app, you can either pick a main preview window from the photo print by itself or one of your other products. But for me, I only have 2 products right now for each photograph. This image, the resolution is not going to be great. You can see it's kind of fuzzy when you expand it or enlarge it. So definitely get rid of that one. And I have a whole folder full of the small JPEGs, but the mockups are really good. And like I said, the app creates these automatically. But the more product you have, the more configurations you add to your photograph, the more of these images you're going to have. And so if your template is like mine, you can potentially be scrolling for a really long time. So if there's a way that this can be more concise, I guess the word is, or change the layout into a carousel like it is on my mobile version of the website, then that would be better. Because if you add more images, it won't add to how much people have to scroll through the product listing. But that's all I have on this subject. Yes, I'm still adding work on here. The other thing I will go just touch on is this is a limited edition print. So this is not in the WhiteWall app. This is the inventory is being managed through Shopify. I set it up, however, to work the same. So I created a preview in WhiteWall so that WhiteWall could create all these mock-up images for me. And then I drag that over to the Shopify page for this so that I can still have these previewed and set up the way I need to. But yes, when someone orders a limited edition, I don't think, or did I figure out how to do that? Yes, I figured out how to do that. Never mind. This you're gonna have to limit your inventory in the WhiteWall app. Let me see if I can bring that up really quick. And go to product. Yes, I did figure out how to do that. Okay, so this is only 7 prints are going to be sold per size, up to 36 by 24, and then for 45 to 30, 6 to 60 by 40, there's 5 prints per size. And so what I want is for WhiteWall not to sell beyond that number because it's a limited edition print, right? Which means that on each one of these, there are only, see that number over here, 7. This is the quantity that I put in for it. So once you get to whatever the top number is, or whatever the limit is, once you get to that, I told the app to not sell anymore. Just label it as sold out in that particular size. So yeah, I selected track quantity on here. So it's still coming, yes, it's still coming out of the WhiteWall app for fulfillment. The order comes in, WhiteWall receives it, and they, do the fulfillment, the shipping, that sort of thing, right? But I have the inventory as tracked, and then you have this box that's not checked, continue selling when out of stock. Once these 5 prints are gone, then this is going to be labeled in this particular size as sold out. and it's not going to sell anymore. So I have available 5, on hand 5, and once that goes down to 0, like I said, um, it'll be sold out. So it took me a little while to figure out how to do that. But I did get it to work. So yeah, if you don't want to sell your print as an open edition, just unlimited prints and unlimited amount of sizes, right? You can sell the limited edition prints through the WhiteWall app, but you have to make sure that you track the quantity and you tell WhiteWall how many is in that particular edition or size. And make sure that when that quantity is gone, the system doesn't continue to sell that particular print size. All right. So now I think that's all I have. And again, I don't know, I really don't know if they can change the interface to fit the rest of these options in. But that would be really good if, like, this is the matting here. Like, all of these are different colors for the mat. So the more options you give clients, the more likely you're going to get sales, because they'll be able to customize or configure the product however they want. So I think that would be really good, just in general, for us as the artists and for WhiteWall as a business. But getting, like I said, getting that in Shopify through the app, I don't know how they're going to do that, if they are looking to do that. Okay, so if you guys have any more questions about anything that I talked about on this particular episode, just let me know. What I'm going to work on now is new work. There's quite a few new arrivals coming, and so I'm going to speak on that next. But in terms of the WhiteWall app integration into Shopify, I have a playlist for that. And looking at the numbers, you guys have been watching that quite a bit. So if there is anything that I left out, or something that you want me to cover again, then I'll happily create hopefully a shorter, more concise video on that particular subject, so that it's easier to digest the information. But until next time, you guys take care.